My name is Sonia Hilgren. I'm president of the Press Club and editor of Farm Journal, and I want to thank everybody who made this possible, especially Sidney Blumenthal, his great talent that of course makes it all possible, and Borders Books, and I want to thank the New Yorker, and I want to thank all of you for coming tonight because the great audience is going to make this a success. And then to tell us all about it and to explain, I will introduce and thank at the same time Susan Albert Lowenberg, and she is with the LA Theater Works production.
Hello. I'm the producing director of LA Theater Works. LA Theater Works is a nonprofit theater organization. We are based in Los Angeles, California, and we produce plays for the stage. And in the last 10 years, we've sort of gotten into a wonderful new game, which is recording plays made for the stage for the radio. And to date, we have the largest library, over 200 plays on tape. And we're very proud of that. It's the largest library in the United States, and the plays are first heard over public radio, over national public radio, and now we're doing 4 plays for the Voice of America. We have been in Washington doing plays with the Smithsonian Institution and the Voice of America. We've done 3 plays this season. We're going to do 1 more. And I think there are probably some subscribers who watch the plays being recorded for VOA here tonight. How many of you are from the Smithsonian Associates? Ah, great, my subscribers. Hello, welcome. What you're going to be watching is a live in-performance radio show. And it's something that really started, as you know, in the 40s and the 30s, and we have revived that art. And I think you will find it an interesting experience. We are being recorded tonight for later broadcast over public radio, and in the back are our recording engineers. Here on the side, you'll see we are being recorded for C-SPAN. So for the first time in our experience, radio is being broadcast for television. A real twist. I'd like to bring Amy Strong, our Foley artist, out. Amy is a very important element in the show, and in a moment I am going to, Amy and I are going to do some tricks together because she is going to provide all the sound. She's actually an actor in this play. She is another actor in the play, and you'll see what she has up her sleeve in a moment. I am very delighted to be here, and we started, I can't quite believe that a year and a half ago, over a corned beef sandwich, a mutual friend of Sidney Blumenthal's and mine told me that Sidney Blumenthal, the journalist, had written a play. And my antenna, my producer antenna, immediately went up because I have always admired his writing. And I said to him, tell Sidney Blumenthal to call me. Well, at 7 a.m. the next morning, the phone rang. It was Sidney. And lots of fun, many drafts, many rewrites, a number of performances later. Here we are at the Press Club in Washington. This is a play which, as you know, is called This Town. So here we are in our ideal venue, performing Sidney's play, and I would like him to stand and take a bow. I also would like to thank the Press Club, Sonia Hilgren, the president, and the great staff who've really made this engagement possible for us. Borders Books, especially Marianne Brownlow, and the New Yorker magazine. Now, we have a little work to do. You are part of this show, and I'm going to need a few things from you. Amy, could you hold up the applause sign? Okay. It's not quite that simple. It's not that simple. I'm going to need some wild line applause from you. And what I need is some enthusiastic applause. But this is a play, and so you have to be in character. So what I would like you to do when I raise my hands is to applaud as though you are a group of investigative journalists on a convention in Toledo. Okay? You ready? All right, and that was great. I can't believe it. There must be some journalists here. You couldn't have done it that well the first time. You're hired. That was terrific. Okay, one more thing, and then I'm going to introduce the director, Ron West. Okay, this time, I need some murmurs from you. All right? I want it to be the sound of 500 rumors being passed at a party in Washington. You ready? And that was fantastic. There must be some journalists here. Okay, without further ado, let me introduce to you, straight from Chicago and the Second City, our director, Ron West.
Thank you, Susan. You know, right now, Gary, who's the director of C-SPAN, is doing a close-up for me, which will eventually be on C-SPAN. And I'm a little bit nervous about it because whenever I'm on TV, I look like a guy on 60 Minutes who's selling tainted meat. I'm not even guilty, and I look guilty. Actually, I'm going to pick up the ball here with just a couple of things I need from some of you in the second act. So let's look for some likely group. Okay. From here to the end, 4 rows deep. Okay. Can you please give me Greg Norman just sank the putt applause? Hey, that's pretty nice. Those people on the end are not participating. Make them participate. Let's just try that one more time. Okay, we're going to call that number 1. That's sank the putt, okay? And that'll be number 1. Now, this one is the Redskins are now 10-1. Very good. Sank the putt. Redskins 10-1. Redskins Super Bowl. Oh, fascism and comedy are so much the same thing. Okay, I am here to tell you that tonight we are going. Well, you look for me in the second act, and I'll remind you. But you got a couple of cues coming up there. Okay, I'm here to tell you that you're going to be seeing This Town by Sidney Blumenthal, most of which takes place in the White House press briefing room, and it is performed with a 10-minute intermission at the request of the Cash Bar. So, first of all, I want to thank Alex Rennick, Richard Ferg, and Howard Rothman, who are my crew tonight. Thank you, gentlemen. And now I'm going to introduce the cast to you. Please hold your applause until I have introduced all of them. You know, they're all professional actors from Los Angeles and New York, but they have come from somewhere in this great land of ours to be with us here tonight. So here, along with their hometowns, are From Los Angeles, California, Ari Gross. From New York City, John Randolph. From Oakland, California, John Vickery. From Cleveland, Ohio, B.J. Jones. From Brooklyn, New York, John Matthews. From Rye, New York, Tom Virtue. From Chicago, Illinois, Samantha Bennett. From New York City, Erica Schickel. From Princeton, New Jersey, Richard Kind. And from Boston, Massachusetts, the Secretary of Labor, Robert Reich. Please welcome them, won't you?
All right, let's get this lead for tomorrow's column. Dateline, Washington. Today, half a dozen House Republicans have voluntarily submitted to drug tests and challenged their Democratic opponents to do likewise. Now, this could be a campaign gambit that turns the tide. Why not line up porta-johns stretching in a long row from the House to the Senate side so that samples can be collected from every incumbent? No, that won't work. I need a harder line.
The White House nearly burned down today in an electrical fire in the West Wing, possibly as a direct result of the First Lady's extensive redecoration, which has already cost taxpayers millions of dollars. This latest incident, which destroyed a priceless antique rug dating from the McKinley administration, will raise the cost even more. How much, the White House is not yet admitting. This is Loretta Hall from the White House.
Dateline, Washington. Instead of drug tests, why not random IQ tests? No, that would, those tests tell us that we don't already know, you know.
The White House was all alarm bells today when a frayed electrical cord sent sparks flying onto a rug in the West Wing. Fortunately, a potential conflagration was averted by a quick-thinking deputy assistant on the National Security Council who handled an extinguisher with unexpected skill. But now national security might be affected. It appears that several classified documents were hosed in the process. This is Bill Whitney from the White House.
Dateline, Washington. The president's political advisors believe his anti-tobacco initiative is catching fire, like the White House. Yeah, that's more like it. I'm on a roll now.
Tonight, a large gray cloud hangs over the White House as the fire here raises the specter of a possible cover-up. Why are there discrepancies about who pulled the alarm first? Does this affair expose the president's neglect of the executive mansion itself? Why were documents damaged during the rescue? And why wasn't their existence publicly acknowledged before? A lot of questions remain to be answered. While there's yet no smoking gun from a still smoking White House, this is Burton Bird.
Briefing room. Wow, this is much better than I imagined. It's much grungier than it looks on television. A lot smaller, too, like I said on Saturday Night Live. Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, what?
Would it be okay if I stood at Bobby Rochester's podium?
As long as you don't touch my camera, you can stage a coup d'etat for all I care.
Thanks. Cool, the actual podium. I'll take your questions now. No comment. I'll get back to you on that. The president made that clear in his speech yesterday. I'll take a question from the back. Oh, excuse me. Would it be all right if I sat in the front row?
Sure, when you get tired, go upstairs and sleep in Lincoln's bed. I'm out of here.
Thanks.
Hello. Do I know you?
Loretta Hall. You're Loretta Hall.
Yes, I'm LorettaAll.
It is a real honor to meet you.
Thanks, but you're sitting in my chair, Goldilocks.
Oh, God, sorry. I didn't know there was assigned seating.
So you're from New York?
How'd you know?
Please. Which paper?
I'm not with a newspaper. Is it okay to sit here?
For now.
I work for The City. The magazine, The City, not New York City, like the mayor. Mason Copperhead.
What do you cover?
Whatever's hot. I just did a big takeout on Carolyn Bessette Kennedy, the Calvin Klein years. Did you see it? It was picked up by Entertainment Tonight, lead story.
I missed it.
You don't see The City? Whoa. I've heard that people in Washington live in their own envelope.
Uh-huh. So what story are you going to do?
Washington, how it works. You know, the power game. I just need an angle.
I suppose I could introduce you to Bobby Rochester.
Fabulous.
But you have to be in this town a long time to understand it. Talk to some other members of the press, see what they have to say.
Ooh, this is gonna be fabulous.
Hi, Bert.
Hey, Loretta. Who are you? You're in my seat.
Sorry, Mr. Bird. Mason Copperhead.
Do I know you?
Mason wrote the article on Carolyn Bessette Kennedy in The City.
The new Jackie.
Oh, yeah, I think I read that. Who cares?
Hey, Bert, I saw you were a substitute guest on Press Beat Sunday.
Yeah, I might get to do it again next week. I'll find out after the briefing, whenever that happens. You know, I've spent 1/4 of my adult life sitting here waiting.
Phil Riley should give you more advance notice. You've got to get Badger to work it out in your contract.
Yeah, well, if Riley gives me 4 more appearances, that should make me the regular substitute. That's a good title. Regular substitute is better than occasional substitute, which isn't even a title. And once I have the job, then I can negotiate for it.
Badger?
Clark Badger, the agent.
Never heard of him. Which agency is he with? CAA? ICM? William Morris?
He's with himself. He's here in this town.
Oh, that's why. People are famous here who nobody knows. I have to crack this code.
Badger's great, Bert. I mean, and if he gets you enough airtime, you'll get Phil Riley's speaking fees. When was your last speech?
About a month ago. University of Delaware. It was a conference on the media and the president. I was the main speaker from the media. I got all of $2,000.
I got 7 last week, but I have the National Speakers Bureau. Who's your speaking agent, Bert?
The National Speakers Bureau. Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm sure you could get 7, and you don't have to go to Delaware. I do all the hotels. Midday quickies, I get the most wonderful sweet talk. The introductions are to die for. If I got a shred of that kind of respect from this stupid White House, I might do a favorable story someday.
Look at that damn door to the West Wing. That is the story. It's the story of no stories. How am I supposed to get stories when the door is the story and the door is not open? This is so frustrating.
Bert, Loretta.
Hello, Bill.
Hi, Mr. Whitney.
You're in my seat.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know. Mason Copperhead.
Mason's here to write about Washington. Might be an interesting subject, don't you think, Bill?
More the merrier. Just hop into the Shark Tank. Bert. I was out of town, but I got back in time to catch you on Press Beat. Nice going.
Look at that carpet leading to the closed door of the West Wing. It used to be a high traffic area. Now it's spotless. That clean carpet, it makes me nervous.
What's with Bert?
The usual.
I scratch at that door. I knock at it. I do the day stories. The day stories I do are good. You've seen them, right? Right? Huh? Good, right? Yeah, what? What's
they're
wrong?
fine.
They're fine.
I know. It's just that Riley wants harder and harder, wham, bam, so he can get the power and the glory. Riley moderates Press Beat like some know-it-all Charlie King of the Hill, and he wears that bureau chief hat like a crown. But has Riley ever done a story? I mean, ever in his life? I love it how he talks about we and the media. But was he ever in the media before he became the Holy Roman Emperor? No. Phil Riley was a political hack, a campaign consultant, with an unimpressive win-loss ratio, I might add. How he parlayed that into Lord God King Big Shot, I do not know.
Maybe Badger can get you to be the regular sub for Riley on Press Beat.
Oh, if Badger could pull that off, I'd be golden.
Well, hello, kids.
Frank.
I see you dusted off my reserved seat in the second row.
Hi, Mr. Langley. I'm Mason Copperhead.
You're in the Brett Hume seat.
Where should I sit?
7th row between the Columbus Dispatch and the Bangor Daily News.
Oh, that sounds cool. Thanks.
What's with the polka dot bow tie, Frank? Where's the Paisley one?
Well, my syndicate wanted a new picture for the column. New picture, new bow tie.
Same old receding hairline.
Now, knock it off, Bill. I earned this hairline. It's a badge of honor.
You want to have dinner at Morton's tonight?
I just had lunch there. Larry King was telling a funny story about Ross Perot bugging Frank Sinatra. And then Bob Strauss said he was trying to arrange a lunch for Dole with Sinatra. And then David Brinkley came over and said he remembered when Sinatra was campaigning for Roosevelt.
What would Dole and Sinatra talk about? I mean, maybe Von Ryan's Express. I wonder if I could cover that lunch. I'm looking to write about how Washington really operates, something different.
Very interesting. Good luck.
Well, I've been talking to Loretta. She knows a lot. And she said I should talk with you guys, if you don't mind.
Here's my card. Give me a call.
That'd be great.
Here you go, Mason.
Oh, thanks. Mr. Langley?
Yeah, we can talk anytime.
Well, tonight?
I gotta have a drink with Novick.
Well, how about dinner?
No, I gotta meet Blankley at the Capitol Grill.
Maybe I could join you.
No, he's a Gingrich guy. He's a sauce.
How about tomorrow for breakfast?
I'm booked. Sperling Breakfaster. Sonny Boney's there.
Well, when can we meet?
Anytime, kid. Just call my office.
Oh, Loretta, this is so frustrating.
Well, can't you get a special, like a tour of the White House with the First Lady?
Wait, in this White House? Who's ever talked to her? Who the hell knows what's going on behind that door? Last time I asked for an interview with the First Lady, some kid from the campaign laughed at me. Really, giggled. Kid giggled. The kid couldn't have been 30. They're back there having some deep conversation about Kurt Cobain.
Isn't he running for the Senate in Oregon?
See, I think it's retribution for press speak. Riley's trying to show he's really a card-carrying member of we in the media. So, he's been merciless on the administration. And then they take it out on me, and then Riley puts more pressure on... Ugh, this is so frustrating.
I think the special's a good idea. Maybe I'll try it. Worked for you before with Nancy.
Well, that's true. The book of my special did make the Post bestseller list.
The First Lady with a Smiling Face.
Yeah, that was a good title. And it wasn't just another book. It was a photo essay. People don't appreciate how difficult it is to write a book with photographs. They can be very distracting.
Yeah, I remember that book. I think I saw it in the remainder bins in Barnes & Noble.
And it was a great book party. Nancy swept
No,
in.
don't get me wrong, Loretta. I'm not saying that Reagan wasn't frustrating, but this crowd, they come to this town and prevent the people here who have always been here, who are this town, from being this town.
At least Reagan gave us a role. He was the leading man, and we were the best supporting actors.
We got to play ourselves. They can't reinvent us now.
They're reinventing government.
Yeah, but Frank, they're de-inventing us. You can't expect some joker from Palookaville who doesn't understand this town to run this town. But they're too incompetent to know that if they frustrate us like this, they're just isolating themselves.
Well, I wouldn't worry so much about it. I've seen them come and I've seen them go. You kids have no idea how bad it was when Jim Haggerty ran the press operation.
I suppose he told a good joke at Morton's today.
No, he worked for Ike. He's been dead for years.
I know, Frank.
Yeah, I heard that's a Washington thing. You're talking to the dead.
Mason, Frank is holding court.
Listen, there's always stories. Every day is a story. You have to pay your dues. It still counts.
Oh, that's as old-fashioned as your bow tie.
Bert's right. I hate to say it, but today the work is only part of it. You have to polish your image. It's a crisis of perception.
Perception.
We're at the point where who you're assumed to be is not necessarily what you do.
You may say this frustration is dues, Frank. But for what? New York wants something juicy, something big, something hot. But then they cut my stories to ribbons. I can't even get a minute and a half on the morning show. Longest segment I've had in months was that lamp that caused a fire in the West Wing. See, that's what New York wants. It's all perception.
The gunman on Pennsylvania Avenue, that was a godsend.
If only a meteor would land in the Rose Garden.
Oh, another Life on Mars story.
Then New York would be satisfied.
See, it's about New York, Frank.
You can't wait for that mayoralty race.
The network. I'm talking about the network.
Oh, I thought you were talking about New York.
New York will never understand Washington.
It's true. They think this town is some kind of a cross between Versailles and Tobacco Road.
I am learning so much already.
They think it can be covered by anyone.
Bert.
The network. I'm talking about the network.
Bert, have a stiff drink and lie down. Look, when I think of the world, I think of slots. Everybody has their slot. A slot is more than a beat. A beat is just an assignment. You just go there and get out and move on to the next beat. But a slot is who you become. Now, maybe after being on a beat for so long, it becomes your life. But after a while, you even forget it's about stories. It's about you. You are the slot. That's how it works. That's how it always worked. The man becomes the work. Take my word for it.
Oh, it's supposed to work that way. But the people behind that door don't respect it, and New York could care less.
Well, we all wouldn't give for some little nugget that would create an avalanche that crushes this White House, and then we could all climb to the top of the rubble and plant the network flag.
Well, that's the difference between the print press and the electronic media. I'm just a newspaper man, a guy with a pencil.
Come on, Frank, cut the folksy routine. It's great on Inside Dopesters, but give it a rest around us.
Give what a rest?
I wish I could afford your attitude. That image certainly works for you.
Come on, what image?
Well, do you happen to have an agent?
A what? Who is this kid?
Mason Copperhead. You know, an agent to negotiate your deal with Inside Dopesters.
Well, it's free money. I just talk like I talk and they give me the money. I just have Clark Badger do the paperwork.
Now, why does everyone have Badger? Everyone but me. If I had Badger, I bet my magazine show wouldn't have been canceled.
Oh, Bill, get over it. That was 2 years ago. You still make more than any other person here. You're an institution.
So who's your agent, Mr. Whitney?
Why, Stuart Grant.
Very classy.
Yes, I like to think
But,
so.
Bill, dear, isn't that a problem?
What?
I mean, he looks so distinguished with his silver hair, his English suits, but somehow he and his law firm reek of the National Portrait Gallery.
But don't discount his prestige.
Well, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Prestige is passé. Having him can make you seem like an artifact from another era.
Well, I may not be this president's tennis partner, but everyone knows I can still serve aces.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, that everything's accelerating.
Yeah.
You can be history really fast.
Well, the people in Singapore don't seem to think I'm passé.
Singapore?
What?
Singapore is not out of town.
Well, sure it is.
No, Singapore's out of the country. Singapore's out of the solar system.
I gave a speech to the Morgan Bank.
How much?
Well, they offered 20, but the trip is horrendous. It's a whole day in the plane, you know, and they say the Prime Minister of Singapore will be there. James Baker will be there. Colin Powell will be there. I say, no, the trip's too long. They say 25. I say, no, the trip's too long. They say 30. I say, the trip just got shorter.
Cool. And the plane ticket alone costs $7.
So I get there, speak for 20 minutes, check into the Nico, sleep, get back on the plane, and I'm back in time to catch Bert on press beat.
30,000?
Which speech did you give?
Presidents who have known me. The short version. When was your last speech, Bert?
I don't want to give speeches. If I could just get a little access from this White House, just a little.
You know, when the president is at that podium, sometimes I sit here and I think I could give better answers. Bill Whitney knows the White House better than he does. Bill Whitney has been here longer. Bill Whitney wouldn't make the mistakes he's making. What's he doing there?
And who appointed her? I mean, just because I'm married to an editor at the New York Times, does that give me the right to dictate its editorial policy?
Say, how is John? How are things at the desk at the Good Gray Lady?
Oh, it's more stifling than ever. What do you expect? It's the Times. You're becoming deputy in the Washington Bureau is a big promotion, but he's more invisible than ever.
Not invisible could be very cool. I mean, it worked for Anonymous.
Please. The reporters are children, the editors are their nannies. All John does is clean up everybody's finger painting and make it look respectable. He's just wasted. He's so talented. He should have a column. He should be a panelist on Inside Dopesters. John should be the one giving speeches. He's covered this town since Watergate.
Yeah. And how old do you think Bobby Rochester was during Watergate, huh? 12? Wonder what that briefing's about today. The number of Pampers used by the White House staff.
Huggies.
Hey, guys.
Morning, Frank. Yo, you're in my seat.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know about you, Bert, but I got a story today.
What do you mean you have a story today?
Albert had a little one on the Federal page about the president's best friend, Scamper.
Oh, yeah, that one. How much it costs to keep Scamper and dog food? See, that's not a story. That's a supermarket coupon.
Oh, that was a good, solid little story.
Yes, nothing but the best for the first dog.
This briefing is fabulous, and it hasn't even started yet.
It might be little, but it's a story. What are you working on, Bert?
Oh, it seems that you're the only one with a source around here, huh?
I work at it, Bert.
Yeah, what do you think I'm doing, huh?
Oh, God! I gotta meet a friend in Virginia. Where is that?
Turn left at Georgetown.
How long will it take me to get there, Mr. Langley?
Well, you're late already.
Oh, God! I'm out of here.
Bye, Mason.
Oh, please ask Bobby Rochester not to start until I get back.
Sure, kid, whatever you say.
Our next model is Bobby. He's sporting a navy blue suit from Brooks Brothers, nicely set off by a tie from the Jerry Garcia collection.
Good afternoon. Just a look ahead for the rest of the week. Today at 11 a.m., the President will meet with senior citizen groups on protecting Medicare. Then he'll have his weekly lunch with the Vice President. Wednesday morning, he will meet with the foreign ministers of Israel and the Palestinian Authority. Thursday morning at 10 a.m., there will be a cabinet meeting devoted largely to issues concerning the environment. On Friday at 11 a.m., the President of Ukraine will arrive at the White House, and the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty will be signed in a ceremony in the East Room. The rest of the schedule is still pending. Any questions?
Yes. What about the dog food? Is the amount of money reported in the Post the complete amount?
Yes, Albert, I believe your story was correct.
Yeah, who pays for the dog food?
All right, Bobby, does the president pay out of his own pocket or what?
Yes, I'm sure that's the case.
Yeah, but you're not sure and you're saying you are sure. How do you know that the dog food hasn't been donated by the dog food company?
Yeah, as I said, the president pays himself, but I will get back to you with exact details.
What's the name of the dog food?
I'm not really sure, but I can get back to you.
Is the dog food company one of those big agribusinesses? And what contracts does it have with the Department of Agriculture?
I'm sure that this has no relevance to the Department of Agriculture.
Well, is there going to be a general accounting office report?
No, of course not. There's no problem.
Bobby, how the taxpayers' money is spent may be more important to them than to you. Why don't you answer the question?
No is the answer.
Bobby?
Loretta.
Who takes care of the dog?
The President and the First Lady and their children take care of Scamper. He's the family dog. That's his family.
Yeah, let me make it easier for you. The first family doesn't take care of Scamper all the time, does it? Who walks him?
Who gives him a bath?
As a matter of fact, a U.S. Park Service ranger occasionally walks Scamper near the bushes on the south lawn.
What? Bobby, how much does this cost the taxpayers?
The Park Service has always had a ranger assigned to this task. It did not start with this administration.
Yes, but how much does it cost?
And what about the bath? How much time does this ranger spend on Scamper?
Right.
Is it a full-time job?
Wait a minute, I have a follow-up.
Yeah, well, let him answer my question first.
The ranger, I'm sure, is paid the salary of a ranger.
Once again, you have not answered the question. Just tell us. You don't need figures in front of you. Is it $30,000, $40,000?
I can
Bobby.
get that for you after the briefing. Frank.
How will ethnic voters in Ohio react to this new treaty with the Ukraine?
Good question, Frank. The president is very concerned.
Did the ranger volunteer for the assignment?
Yes, or was he ordered?
As a matter of fact, the ranger who was assigned to this duty was replaced last week, I believe, by another ranger.
What?
Why'd you get the axe?
Yeah, you still haven't answered, Bobby, and now there's this. Who ordered the second ranger to take the job?
Well, I don't know that he was ordered per se. He may well have volunteered. Bert.
What I don't understand is why, when you knew this, you didn't tell us this at the beginning.
Right.
You walk in here, you pretend like this wasn't an issue, like this wasn't an important story.
It isn't.
Yeah, but don't you think you've created the appearance of wrongdoing?
There's no wrongdoing. No ethics code or law has been violated.
I don't think you grasp that there's a perception problem here, because that's what it is. It smacks of serious mismanagement, or the perception of serious mismanagement. It's just another part of the pattern, and the question is, what are you going to do about it?
How much is the ranger being paid?
What happened to ranger number 1?
Who gave the orders?
What are their names?
Well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I can't answer everybody at once. There are a lot of issues involved here. Bill.
Bobby, before the spin masters of the administration massage the answers, let me list the questions for my colleagues here so that we don't forget when you trot back out here again.
Thank you,
we?
Bill.
Yeah. It strikes me that we don't know who pays for the unnamed dog food, what the company is, what contracts it has with agriculture, how much it's contributed to the president's re-election campaign, who the rangers are, whether they're on compulsory duty, and how much that costs.
And the perception problem. The perception problem is key.
Yes, that too. And the question of why this wasn't forthcoming at the start.
Exactly.
That's right.
You will get us the answers, won't you, Bobby?
I am going to check and double check, and I'll be back on all this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What's the lead? How do we lead this?
I've got to
over
get to
at
the
the
dog food
GAO? I
company.
need a number.
What is that
I've
dog
seen
food?
the ranger with Scamper. He was taking a leak.
The dog or the ranger?
Oh, this is better than that gunman on Pennsylvania Avenue.
Better than the electrical fire.
Oh, it's good. Not as good as life on Mars, but
Wait a minute.
good.
What did Rochester say? The president and the first lady and their children take care of Scamper? Who's got this? What's the
Hey,
exact
wait a
quote?
minute, I'm rewinding.
Dog, that's
I
his
gotta get the
family.
quote.
Let me make it easier for you. The first family doesn't take care of Scamper all the time.
Lady and their children take care of Scamper. He's the family dog. That's his family.
Let me make it
The
easier.
quote's correct.
Correct, we caught him. He's trying to put a spin on it, so we report that the president takes care of the dog, when in fact we got him to admit the ranger walks the dog.
Unbelievable hypocrisy.
What do you expect?
I'm going to lead with unanswered questions.
No, I'd make it harder. Something like, after repeated questioning, the White House has admitted that it could not account for the president's use of funds.
Oh.
Well, that's the way I'm going.
Bert, what are you going with?
I really think that maybe what's central is perception.
No.
Yeah.
I don't need perception. I'm just going with no accounting.
Okay, unanswered question.
Hey, is there a photo of the dog taking a leak? I'm gonna go cover the leak.
Still going to go with perception, Bert?
Yeah, well, you see, it all falls into a consistent pattern. Perception is crucial. If they're careless about this, think how they'll be careless about a national security issue. They can't see the perception because they're starting to cover up their mistakes. Instead of admitting to their mistakes, they've developed a bunker mentality and won't admit to anything. It is a pattern of deception, dishonesty, and duplicity designed to frustrate us.
Dog or the Ukraine? Dog or the Ukraine?
Dog for me. New York will bite on this down and dirty bait. We've got a live one. I can feel it pulling on my line already.
Loretta?
Yeah.
You got a second?
I gotta make a call.
What's your lead?
My lead is unanswered questions. John Hall, please.
Honestly, what do you think of perception? It's not too soft, is it?
Bert, I honestly think perception could be really smart.
Thanks, because, you know, perception's a real point. The cover-up can be worse than the original crime. See, that's where not understanding perception can land you, because this is not nothing. This is a big something.
Hi, sweetheart. Okay, remember, we've got the Flexner party tonight.
The Flexner party? You're going to... Okay.
Try to be on time. Okay. Well, you're always working late. Well, I just wish you'd get more credit. Okay. All right. I'll see you there. Bye-bye. I have never understood the whole sanctimony of being a timesman, like they're cardinals in the Vatican working for the greater glory of a religion I don't get. I mean, they're so celibate.
Yeah.
Look, you see, I think Riley is going to like the perception angle big time. Don't you think so?
It could be smart. We could have a run on this story. Look, and I've got to run.
But, okay, Loretta, how are we going to get a run if we don't have sources? You can't get a piece unless you have a source, and there are no sources. We're stonewalled already.
Bert, it's a little too early to throw in the towel, okay? There are always sources. We already have a story, and there are no sources, so we'll just make the sources.
So honestly, you think perception is good?
Yes, Bert, perception's great.
Okay, Bert, in 5, 4, 3, 2...
The White House you see behind me is reeling today from revelations involving the president's personal finances. It all started with Scamper, the White House dog. The president, it was disclosed, pays for the dog food out of his own personal expenses. Robert Rochester, the White House communications director, claimed at first this was a matter of no public interest, but then, after repeated inquiries, he altered his story, confessing that he couldn't account for how the arrangement worked. In addition, the White House couldn't account for its ties to the dog food company, which we have learned is a subsidiary of a large agribusiness conglomerate with holdings in the president's home state. The General Accounting Office may or may not be launching an investigation. We don't know for certain because the White House can't explain what has happened and therefore what will happen. Will there be an internal White House investigation? Perhaps. One thing is for sure, the perception of an ethical meltdown hangs over a troubled White House. This is Burton Bird at the White House. How was that?
That was okay.
Was that okay?
Yeah, it was okay.
How'd the tie look?
Tie looked okay, Bert.
Okay, $85.
That's great, Bert.
It's Donna Karen.
That's great,
Got
Bert.
it on the network clothing
That's
allowance.
great, Bert.
Great?
Great.
Okay?
Yeah.
It's okay? Yeah? Okay. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, don't tell me. Oh, no. Did Marine One ruin my stand-up?
No, we're clear.
Okay.
Hey, there's the president.
Okay.
And there's Henry Flexner, that defense honcho.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Oh, and there's that kid, that Mason kid.
What? What? How do you get on Marine One?
I don't know, Bert. D'Amato's probably going to investigate.
And when the president went on his last trip to New York, he asked me where to eat, and I told him Boulay.
Oh, no. Next time, tell him to go to Barocco in Soho.
Ah, shrewd choice.
Oh, Mr. Bird, has the briefing started yet?
No, it's over.
Oh, I thought taking Marine One would get me here in time.
Well, you were wrong.
Burton Bird. Am I not correct?
Yeah, that's me.
Mason, will you excuse Mr. Bird and me for a
Sure.
moment?
I'll call you at your office. Ciao. Thanks for the lift.
I'm surprised we haven't met before. Henry Flexner, pleased to meet you.
Of course, yeah, of course. Henry Flexner, Under Secretary of Defense.
For policy.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Yeah, I've been meaning to call you. People at the network mentioned that you've come from New York to this town.
Quite a transition. Wall Street to Washington.
Yeah.
By the way, I saw your report the other night, and it's in keeping with the fine work I've admired for years.
Oh, thanks, yeah. How do you know Mason?
From New York. He might do a profile on me. Perhaps you know my wife, Penny Van Frelinghuysen. She was in Washington in the early 70s, worked on the Post doing features.
Penny Van Frelinghuysen.
That's right.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, she was on the Post?
Oh, it's so long ago. She writes a column for Bon Appetit now. The world of chefs. I'm sure you'd recognize her if you saw her.
Yeah. On the Post, right?
Say, that must have been some briefing today. Quite a storm brewing. I heard the thunder on my side of the Potomac.
Well, I think it'll be a big story.
Yeah, the crisis is coming.
Is there some new foreign crisis? Bosnia, Israel, Iraq?
Oh, there's always trouble, but there's no crisis on those fronts. I must say, this town is so different from the bank. One has to move a whole bureaucracy, then the Congress, then all you fellows in the press. Compared to all that, the Serbs and Croats are remarkably pliable. As you no doubt know, the president and I are old friends, went to college together, but he didn't warn me about these Washington monuments we'd have to move.
Well, this town has always been very complicated.
Yes. Perhaps we could speak more about that some other time. Perhaps you'd like to visit me over at the Pentagon and we could discuss my work reconfiguring the nuclear arsenal.
Oh,
I wouldn't want to walk around here without the insights of a keen observer like you.
Well, if you don't know where the landmines are, that could prove fatal.
Very astute.
Thank you.
That's why I told them it would all blow up. I warned the First Lady this might be a piece of serious business.
I'd really like to interview her.
Have you met Scamper? Nice dog. A little dumb, but a nice dog. He fetches. But what I'm really asking, and I should have been clearer, is whether you could come over to my home this evening. Penny and I are having over a few of our friends we've made in Washington. Very nice people. Nothing formal. Just show up at 8 o'clock. I wouldn't want to interfere with your work, of course. It's just a thought.
Well, yeah, I'll have to call my wife.
Of course. I should have mentioned that. We'd love to meet
Jennifer.
Jennifer. You and Jennifer will both come then? Oh, let me write down the address for you. Let's see. Dear Mr. President, signed Boris. Oh, I can't write on that.
I don't think so. Wow. That's something.
I have to deliver that to the secretary. Here we are, O Street in Georgetown. Don't worry about parking. We'll have a valet. I look forward to talking to you, Burton.
It was a pleasure. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Yeah. Janny? Yes, I'm still at the White House. Listen, can you call the Milners and cancel? Well, something important has come. What? What? What's the problem? You don't even like the Milners.
Okay, Bert, in 3, 2...
Wait a minute. Oh, it's so goddamn early in the morning, and I was at that Flexner party so late.
If you play, you pay.
Oh, how do my eyes look?
Okay.
There's no red in them, huh?
No, they're okay. They're okay. And 3, and 2, and...
In a dramatic new revelation in the scandal involving the care and feeding of the president's dog, highly placed, reliable sources have informed this reporter that a new factor lies beneath the surface. Nepotism. The U.S. park ranger, given the choice job of walking Scamper, turns out to be the president's cousin. This assignment was used to be carried out by another ranger who had worked in this trusted position through 2 previous administrations. But that skilled veteran ranger was abruptly replaced by a presidential relation who was awarded the plum over hundreds of other well-qualified rangers. The White House has yet to respond to this startling development. Instead, as information leaks out, the administration digs itself into a bunker mentality. But the White House spokesmen are expected to crawl out soon to explain this latest wrinkle. This is Burton Bird from the White House.
Cut.
Oh, don't tell me it was the hair now.
Hair's fine.
Oh, let me just do one more take.
There's no time for another
take.
take.
No more time?
No more time.
Oh, God, I haven't been up this early since, I don't know when. Maybe when we had to fly out of Andrews to go on that Mideast trip.
That's great, Bert.
Oh, I can't even remember who was supposed to be making peace.
That's great,
What
Bert.
segment will this air in?
I don't know,
Oh,
Bert.
let's hope for 7, cause 7 is heaven. I'll beat everyone before they're awake.
That's great, Bert.
Well, nothing like a cup of java at the old Ebbett Grill to start your day. Amy,
Yeah, Mr. Langley?
more coffee.
Well, you spilled the last one on your racing form. All right, I'll be right back.
Frank, compared to Amy, you're a newcomer like that Mason kid. She poured coffee for Harry Truman when he was a senator.
Bill, I was sure I'd see you at Flexner's last night. Bert was there.
What was he doing up so early then?
Well, where'd you see him?
On the morning show. The cousin, who's the park ranger.
That's everywhere. I didn't know it was Bert.
No, Bert did it. Good, tight story.
He had a tent.
The ranger had a tent?
No, Flexner had a tent in his backyard. It was advertised as informal. Just half the cabinet, the president's senior advisors, the minority leader. Badger was there.
Ah, another chance to corner him gone. Why wasn't I invited?
Flexner must have thought you were still in Singapore. Oh, you know Penny, Flexner's wife, Penny from the Post in the 70s?
Great days, great days.
I keep forgetting she's that Penny, the party reporter. I can hardly believe I remember
Well, that's
her.
because these bookers who book Nightline have replaced the party reporters.
I sure hope not. Jacqueline Bouvier was a party reporter. I met Jacqueline Bouvier. I liked Jacqueline Bouvier, and these bookers are no Jacqueline Bouvier. No way. It's just another indicator of the cultural decline of this town.
Penny asked if I'd join her morning exercise group.
Talk about an indicator of cultural decline.
I could use some exercise.
Ladies who lunge.
Besides, Penny knows everyone in New York.
Now, why wasn't I there at this party? You were there. Bert was there.
Mason Copperhead was there.
What?
Cultural decline is accelerating.
And everybody there was talking about the scandal, even the White House people. They're supposed to clean up the mess, but they don't even know what it's all about because the president and the first lady are so secretive.
So, they blame the president.
Yes. Can you believe how disloyal they are?
Well, if I was president, I'd fire the lot. But the fact that the president is so poorly served is his own fault.
Those two don't really understand anything, do they? They should take courses in how to behave in this town. Remedial courses.
Amy, another cup of coffee.
You should hear the rumors about the First Lady.
I have. I heard them from you.
Why does everyone say I spread stories about the First Lady? It's so unfair. Everyone knows the rumors, like the one about the veterinarian.
The veterinarian?
I can't believe you haven't heard it.
I haven't heard it.
Oh, Scamper's sick. So they call a vet. This woman vet. Stop me if you've heard this.
No.
She's brought into the residence at the White House, but she can't find Scamper. So she goes to one room, and then to another room, and then to another room. She gets to a door that's closed, but it's not locked, and she opens it. She opens it just a bit. She peeks in. The First Lady and a woman are making love. Okay, she's in a state of shock, the vet, right? But she doesn't lose her composure. She just closes the door without anyone hearing, and she leaves. She never does treat Scamper. You mean you haven't heard that?
No, not that one.
That's what I heard.
Well,
I'm just telling you.
You don't believe that crap.
I'm just telling you what I've heard.
Well, I don't want to hear it.
I even heard the First Ranger was reassigned because he and the First Lady ended their love affair. I can't prove anything, but I can't disprove it. I'm just repeating what I heard.
Oh, jeez. You know, I covered everybody since Ike, and I didn't know anything. And I'm glad. I don't want to write about all that stuff. And then all this stuff comes out about Ike and Summersby Dame. What was I supposed to have done? Gone after it? I'm just glad I never knew. Gee.
All right, Frank, it's almost 10. Let's get over to the briefing room.
I just can't believe people say I'm spreading rumors.
Oh, please. Loretta, for God's sake. Yes, I know.
I'm not spreading rumors.
It's just a story you heard. I know.
Hey, look who's in the front row. The man of the hour. Good story, Bert.
I got up before 5 to get it on the morning show.
There you go. See, Bert's got a real story, not like all this sex stuff.
What sex stuff?
Oh, come on. We've all heard the lesbian stories.
You know, the First Lady's affair with the Ranger that was fired.
What? The Ranger was a woman?
For Christ's sake.
Bert, what do you care? You've already got your Ranger story. But more importantly, how did you wind up last evening, Shea Flexner?
Flexner's been wanting to meet me for some time.
Oh, yeah.
He's one of the better appointments, don't you think, Loretta?
Well, he's a grown-up.
Hey, Loretta. Hey, Bert. Wasn't that a totally cool party? It very closely resembled what my idea of a party in Georgetown would be. Very, very close.
Well, I could have done without Phil Riley being there.
Oh, I saw Riley talking to the Budget Committee chairman and the Ways and Means chairman.
Get this. Today, amazing. This is amazing. Riley staged a 20-minute mock press beat at a lunch for the National Association of Realtors, and guess what? The Budget chairman and the Ways and Means chairman played his guests.
Wow.
Well, they were good guests.
No, they got nothing. I heard Riley got $20,000. They got nothing.
Nothing is not nothing. The senator and the congressman made a large deposit in Riley's favor bank. They'll get to withdraw with interest.
Yeah, come to think of it, they're Riley's guests next week.
Well, how come you weren't at the party, Mr. Whitney?
Well,
Mason.
I tell you, the story is really hot.
You know, the fight will be over before it's fought.
If Bobby begins to craft a spin...
He won't escape our juggernaut.
Hey, let Bobby complain that we're unfair.
I got up before 5 to get on the air.
Bert, this story about Scamper is the solid stuff, the real hard work. We've got to go this way instead of the sleaze, the sex stuff.
Thanks.
Frank, I wasn't saying to do it. I'm just saying what I heard.
there you go.
Oh,
Ooh,
here's
that's Bobby, right?
Good morning. I'd like to give a look ahead at the President's schedule today. The President will have a noon lunch with the Labor Secretary and the Education Secretary to discuss preserving the school-to-work program. At 2 p.m., the President will meet with the Director of the Arms Control and Disarmament Agency and the U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations at Vienna to discuss the new Non-Proliferation Treaty. Tonight, the President and the General Secretary of NATO will discuss future military options in Bosnia. Any questions?
What cousin is the park ranger?
Is he a first cousin?
Is he a second cousin?
My understanding is that he's a distant cousin.
What's distant? Let's define our terms.
Not a first cousin, not a second, not a third. He may be a fifth
Which is it?
cousin.
Is this a guessing game?
I haven't a family tree available right now.
Well, when will you get one?
When I do, I'll let you know.
Bobby, it isn't uncommon for a person in the administration to be married to or related to someone else in the government. But tell us why this ranger, a cousin of the president, happened to get this particular job.
I don't know the exact sequence of events, but it's a perfectly legitimate posting.
Mr. Rochester, Mason Copperhead from the city.
Frank.
Well, just explain in plain language why one ranger would be changed for another. Just tell it to us straight.
Now, Frank...
You see, my question is there any question in your mind that there is a perception crisis? Haven't you created an impression that you're running an insider's game, that it's rigged, that connections outweigh merit in landing a job in this White House?
If you look at the whole range of appointments, you'll see a great deal of diversity and merit. We stand by that, and we'll continue with that.
Mr. Rochester, Mason Copperhead.
Bert?
Yes, even if your motivations are good, can't you see why they appear bad?
We'll do everything we can to prevent that from happening in the future.
That scamper's not going to get another pee walk in his life, right?
Does the pooper scooper law apply inside the White House?
Oh, no.
I'll be getting back to you with the answers to your questions.
Thank you.
Totally radically cool.
Burton Bird, let me say it's good to have you on Press Beat again.
Thanks, Phil.
Burton, you cover the White House. You've covered White Houses in the past. What is it about this scandal, this latest gate, and this White House that makes it different? Or is it the same?
Well, Phil, what's different, in fact, is that it seems the same. It feels just like all the other scandals, all the gates, and this administration was supposed to be different. Of course, they all promised to be different, so to that extent, it's the same, too.
Are we in the media being unfair in our coverage, as some of the president's defenders suggest?
Well, once again, Phil, it sounds familiar. It's the same old complaint about the media. All White Houses complain and whine about negative stories, but the real problem is a problem that this White House has created. It's the gap between what they say and what we've reported. It is a crisis of perception.
Burton, what are they hiding?
Oh, if they would just give us those facts, then we'd know.
Thank you, Burton Bird, White House correspondent, for those cogent words. We'll be right back with our panel's prognostication.
Loretta, I want you to be the first one to know.
What?
It's taken me a week here, but I got the angle on my story. I decided to do the scandal.
Which angle?
Scamper, the dog food, the whole thing. They're just the tip of the iceberg. They are symptoms of a culture of codependency.
You mean the administration?
Washington, the whole thing. Now, don't get me wrong, but I think you have to be from outside of here to get at it.
So you're the outsider?
Ooh, what a great way to put it. I mean, it sounds like a movie title. Well, I think it is a movie title. You see, you understand how I see myself as a journalist? I mean, I don't have lunch with these people. We don't send our kids to the same private schools. I don't even know these people. I don't even have kids. No, that's my great advantage. I'm going to be a burr under their saddles. Well, I like to think of myself that way.
So your story is?
The whole thing. I'm getting an aerial view. Do you know what I think?
I'm not a mind reader.
I think the Washington press corps is being spun by the White House. You are entangled in that whole process. The press has hitched its star to someone who has cement blocks attached to his feet and is being dropped in a lake. I mean, don't you think that's the real scandal?
You lost me.
And this briefing room is the cockpit of the airplane of the aerial view that is my story. I mean, Bobby Rochester's briefings are awesome performances. He is totally, completely inexpressive. Can you imagine the amount of self-control it takes to do that? I mean, I bet he had, like, lessons at the actor's studio. The guy should really have an agent.
But he's in the government.
Movies. A movie agent. I mean, he should really think about it after this gig. I had drinks last month at the Peninsula with guys who could put him in a deal in a second. I mean, maybe just a character bit at first, but that'd just be the start. They could greenlight his whole career.
On what peninsula is this?
The Peninsula. You know, the hotel in Beverly Hills where the agents hang. I was selling a treatment based on the new Jackie concept. I'll get a co-producer credit. It's made for TV.
How does that work exactly? See, this is what I've been trying to explain to John, how big this world is. He didn't even watch a minute of the O.J. trial.
What planet is he on?
The Times, the New York Times.
Oh, yeah. The people I knew at the Times aren't there anymore. One day, they're churning out copy in Albany. The next day, they're writing a book for Donald Trump, getting respect from publishers in the mid-six figures. Ooh. The next thing you know, they're in softball games in the Hamptons. I played second base last summer. Richard Reeves played right field. Ed Bradley pitched, and Anonymous played short.
Oh, John's been so wrapped up in being the deputy bureau chief here, we've never even been to the Hamptons.
Oh, you poor baby. Sacrificing your happiness while he toils for the honor of it all, for the rank. I mean, being medieval seems to be a big deal here.
I've been trying to get John to hear out Badger.
Oh, right, Badger, the famous agent nobody famous knows.
Well, maybe you have ideas about other agents for me.
For what?
Well, Badger's been very good on my network contract, and I have an excellent lecture agency.
Yeah! This whole place could be a fabulous launching pad. I mean, when I met you, I recognized you instantly. You have, like, something very rare. Instant recognizability.
Oh.
I wish I had that. I mean, it's a quality most people don't start out with. I'm sure I could translate that into something very, very big for you.
Have you ever had lunch at the Oval Room?
Why, no.
Well, maybe we... Oh, hi, boys.
Loretta, I was just telling Bert how well he's been doing. Good story, Bert.
You were crisp, very precise. I told John Burton Bird is beating the New York Times. You could be a regular.
On what?
On Press Beat.
I think so, too. But I need another story. One more story might nail me in there. This scandal's opening up all sorts of possibilities.
And that's why I decided to stay, for the scandal, for the whole thing.
Well, sounds like you're finally narrowing it down.
What happened to your in-depth profile of Flexner?
Oh, Flexner's going to be big in the future. This is now.
Yes, you aced the performance, Bert, but you have no idea how fortuitous your appearance may have been. Timing is impeccable.
Hey, you're being very mysterious, Bill.
Yes, I was having a drink with Stuart Grant, who, it turns out, is also Phil Riley's agent.
I thought you wanted to dump Grant.
Just because I like to have a conversation with another agent doesn't mean I want to dump the old one.
Boy, do you know how to play the game.
So, Grant says Riley's doing very well. Very well. He's doing so well, he won't be doing press beats soon.
What? What? He's fired? Oh! And right after I get on...
He's going upstairs. President of the news division. He's moving to New York.
Are you sure?
Grant cut the deal last week.
So when I was on, Riley already knew he's giving up being the host?
He's going to be running the whole show, which means that his spot on the show will soon be vacant. Grant said there are no favorites now. It's an open seat.
Oh, and I just sat down.
Bert, you were good on the show.
Oh, I thought it was finally working out. I was sure Riley was going to ask me back, but if he's not the host, then who is? If Riley's president of the news, he's not going to pick the guests. Oh, yeah, okay, he'll play some part in it, but he can't micromanage the show. So what? So I just land on the beach and it's over? Blam?
Oh, don't worry. You got a good story going.
I dreamt about you the other night, Bert.
You two want some privacy?
No, it's not that kind of dream. No. I dreamt that you, Bert, were on Press Beat.
I was? Well, thanks.
You were a guest, and I was the host. And if I were the host, I'd make you a guest.
Was I a regular?
I'd make you a regular.
I'd make you a regular, Loretta.
Oh, would John be a guest?
Yeah, but Bert's the guy who's got the slot now. Well, sorta. He is on Press Beat, and that's no dream.
If I keep doing the story, I can keep getting on. If I get on more, I can get on for good. And it won't be because of the story, it'll be because of me. I'll be elevated, right? Right? But if I don't get on now, then I'm worse off than I was before. It'd be a setback. I'd appear to be where I started before I got on, but I wouldn't be. You know, he was on, but then they took him off. How does that look?
It would look like you were off.
Exactly. How can I be a regular if I'm off?
Can I say one thing? I think you have to take a shot at the slot.
What do you know about slots?
No, you have to run the show or no show. You got momentum now. If you don't push forward, you lose momentum and get smaller.
Well, you might be right. The slots can change. I've seen it happen.
Bert, there are only two tracks in this town. You're either going up, in which case everybody's trying to hop on board, or you're going down, in which case everybody's jumping off. I don't think you have much choice, Bert. Your train is already moving.
That's the kind of metaphor that puts this town in a nutshell.
Oh, well, thanks.
Yeah, but is my train moving up or moving down?
Oh, you can only be in control if you're moving up, out of the nutshell. Riley's figured that much out himself, which is why he's going to New York.
What makes you think you know Riley?
Oh, I played softball last summer with Riley. He played first base. He was in on almost every play. And I saw him at the Vanity Fair Oscars party. He was at table number 2, closest to table number 1. So he strikes me as being a canny kind of guy.
I just want to be a regular.
Go for the host. If you don't get it, maybe they'll make you a regular. It's the zen of overreaching.
Maybe I should talk to Riley.
No, talk to Badger.
Talk to Badger?
Badger. Yeah, can I say something? Badger has a reputation as being a really shrewd guy in this town.
Oh, really?
That's what I hear, and that's what a reputation is, what you hear. You don't get a reputation like Badger's in this town for not knowing things. So, I wouldn't call Riley. That's what agents are for, and Riley's the kind of guy who respects being called by an agent.
All right, okay, I'll just call Riley to congratulate him.
I don't think you're supposed to know.
When do you think it would be okay for Riley to know that I know?
This news about Riley is going to break soon.
When did you hear about Riley?
Just now, from you guys. But if you're talking about it and I'm hearing it, then tomorrow morning we'll all read about it in the papers. The next day it'll be fish wrap.
All right, okay, then I've made my decision. I better not wait. I better call, okay? Okay, yeah, okay, I'm going to call.
But who are you going to call?
I don't know. Who do you think I should call?
I think Badger is your man.
Yeah, I like Badger.
Badger, okay. Call Badger. Yeah, okay, you're right. I'll call okay, yes, okay, I'll call. Yeah, okay, yeah, Badger. I'll see you later.
Yeah, good luck. Say hi to Badger for me.
Boy, it seems like there's only one agent in Washington. Oh, hey, I got to get back to the hotel now. Loretta, I was wondering if you're free for lunch.
The Oval Room, 45 minutes.
Fabulous. The Oval Room. That's one of those places.
What places?
You know, power lunch. See, I learned a lot about Washington. Power lunch.
I'll see you later, kid.
Wow. He keeps calling me kid. I love being the kid.
Bye, Mason.
Don't waste too much time on him, Loretta.
He's all right.
He's a tourist on the mall. He thinks he's inventing the new journalism, but he's painting by the numbers.
Come off it. He's not so bad. And I haven't seen you get a ride on Marine One since the Gulf War.
Well, he seems like a filler-up kind of reporter. You know, he tilts his head to a source, they stick a pump in his ear, and fill her up.
Are you going to tell John about your luncheon companion?
John doesn't need to know. Bye-bye, fellas.
Wait, I've got to write this column. Park Ranger or Bosnia? Park Ranger or Bosnia?
Morton's or the Palm?
Park Ranger or Bosnia?
Morton's or the Palm?
How about the Palm?
Oh, great, you're buying.
Let me fix the hair.
And 3, and 2, and...
There's an important new development in the affair centered around the White House dog. So far, potential conflicts of interest, unaccounted finances, nepotism, and a crisis of perception have engulfed the administration. Now, the very origin of the controversial dog raises new questions that throw into sharp relief all the old ones. According to a highly reliable source, Scamper, the first dog, was an unreported gift to the first family from the wealthy grande dame of the Democratic Party and major contributor to the president's campaign, Mary Susan Hibbert Crankshaw. Mrs. Crankshaw is also the White House chief of protocol and the great aunt by marriage of the influential lobbyist and lawyer Randolph James, who is a senior partner in the Washington branch of the Chicago law firm that handles the legal affairs of Frontier Harvest Seed, the big agribusiness corporation that produces Rover Deluxe, the dog food that is purchased in a manner still unexplained by the White House. Chief of protocol Crankshaw is in the sensitive position of coordinating the visits of all the important White House guests. How does Mrs. Crankshaw use that position, and for whom? It's almost as if Scamper is the offspring of Checkers, the Cocker Spaniel at the center of Richard Nixon's first scandal. So, as the question of special interest influence peddling rears its ugly head, the crisis of perception grows, casting a long shadow over the president. This is Burton Bird from the White House. Great, huh?
That was great, Bert.
Don't you love it?
It's 7 seconds over.
What? It's 7 seconds over?
Get rid of Checkers.
Oh, no, I am not dropping Checkers. You drop Checkers, you drop Nixon, and I am not losing Nixon. No way is Nixon going.
Okay, Bert, Checkers stays, but you're going to have to talk faster.
I just talk faster.
Okay.
Okay,
in
so
5, 4, 3,
There
2.
is an important new development in the affair centered around the White House dog. So far, potential conflicts of influence, unaccounted finances, nepotism, and a crisis of perception of it.
There will now be a brief intermission.
need a lead.
I need a source.
I need a break. In the story, of course. If I get a lead, then I get the story. If I get a story, then I get the glory.
We're hungry for food to get on the tube.
We need raw meat or we can't compete
On the air. Oh, a story with legs.
A handle, a hook.
A scalp that wins the prize.
We're in the hunt and the law of the pack.
Says only the strong survive. For such is the law of the pack.
Look at this headline, Frank. Page 1, Washington Post. The Pedigree Papers. First Lady's kennel documents on Scamper discovered in closet. And Bill Whitney has nothing.
Yeah, but it's below the fold.
Hey, Bill. Hey, Frank.
Hey, Bert, your story on Friday really screwed up the taping of Inside Dopesters.
Well, you're the one who told me to get another break in it.
Well, I didn't mean right before I'd go on Inside Dopesters. When it came to my turn for Spin of the Week, I said the White House is doing pretty well containing the Scamper business. I tape Inside Dopesters at 3 in the afternoon. At 6:30, you're on the news with your goddamn story. Inside Dopesters comes on at 7, and I have egg on my face. But you know what?
What?
So what? That's what. You got a good story. Nobody remembers anything from these yapping talk shows. If they find us for being wrong, we'd be broke forever.
Thank you, Frank.
Yeah, just don't break any stories between now and tomorrow, okay? I don't want to look stupid in my column.
Sources. You must have some great sources. I don't have a single one.
It's cultivation.
I saw where you were on press beat again.
Yeah, I thought it was good. What do you think?
Well, the point you made about credibility was good.
Perception. The crisis of perception. See, I think that's right. But I think it was really good when Riley said, Bert and Bird, you've covered many White Houses. You see, because I think he's building up my image, my reputation. I think it shows his intentions.
Did you mention to him that he's leaving?
Nope. I act like I don't know. Just doing my job. I'm above it all. I think it gives me more stature. Makes me look more professional.
Well, the worst that happens is that you're doing the story and you keep getting on press beat.
Yep, and the story's just getting better, isn't it? Oh, listen, Loretta. Listen. I talked to Badger on Sunday. He heard about Riley.
You know, it's just possible he heard it from you.
No. And he saw me on press beat. He said I appeared serious, and he likes the story.
Well, that's the right advice. It's what I've been saying all along.
So if I keep it up, it'll raise my visibility. I have to continue to appear serious, distinguished, which I've already done, I think. Yeah, it's host-like.
You got another lead?
Another lead? Well, I'm working on it. I think I'll get it. I'm sure I will. It's the way to go for now. I mean, it's got me this far, right?
Hey, no, don't get overconfident.
Well, listen, yeah. I got to make a call, see what I can get.
Well, let me have the phone number of that source when you're through.
Oh, shoe leather. It's good old-fashioned shoe leather. Pound that pavement.
Frank, I've been wondering, where do you think this whole scandal's going?
Oh, I don't know what it amounts to yet, but you never know. I've seen the high and the mighty brought down by a lot less.
Man, you have been around.
Well, you have to pay the dues. There's no substitute.
I can't get over how you say that. I mean, it's an incredibly effective persona, if you know what I mean. I mean, I have been watching these talk shows very closely, and the other talking heads are on fast forward, desperate to get their one-liners in. But what you do is so cool. I mean, how you seem like you don't care. The dues, as you put it, must have been incredible. I mean, is there, some secret?
Well, it's just work.
Huh. I'm kind of surprised you don't have PR people where you work. The city has a PR agent, someone who makes sure the story's the buzz. It's how you get hot. That's how my story on the new Jackie got on ET. I mean, how do you get your stories out?
Well, I write the columns and they print them and I hope somebody reads them.
God, I had no idea Washington was so far behind the curve. I mean, I thought that everything that went on in New York went on everywhere.
Well, maybe you ought to do a little of the work and see if you can hack it. I gotta make a call. Be back in a little bit.
Loretta, what applies to Bert applies to us, too. If we don't keep moving, we'll drop like dead weights. It's the shark principle.
I keep telling John this kind of thing opens up, and he doesn't listen. He just burrows deeper into the times. He's got to get in the flow. John would be a great guest on Press Beat.
And Bert as host?
Oh, you don't believe that, do you? Riley will make the call. Why on earth would he pick Bert?
The peer principle. Riley always surrounds himself with journalists who've been around so he can say, we in the media with conviction. And Bert's been around.
I wonder if he's been around a bit too much.
Whoa! What a concept! Being so stale that you're fresh. Can it work for anyone besides Bert?
I wouldn't know, Mason.
Wait, so if Grant told you about the Riley move, you must be back to being chummy with him. That must also mean you don't need me to introduce you to Badger anymore.
Not just right now.
Oh, maybe it would be better if John met with Grant. He might be more his type, more prestigious than Badger.
Do you want me to call Grant for you? I can do that.
Not just right now.
You don't mind my saying something? I don't really know him, but I think Bert's got to get heavier, get some gravity. And it's very hard to get heavy at the same time that you're getting hot.
John might give him some gravity. If Bert gets the job, he could make John a regular.
Fickle, aren't we?
I'm just thinking out loud.
Synergy is where it's at. I mean, if you combine with something else to become something else, you transcend everything.
Oh, exactly. If only John could break out of the coffin he's in, we could do this together. Both of us on television, both of us giving lectures, joint appearances.
See? That's synergistic. I mean, how many media couples are there?
4, but that's not the point. See, it's about us. I mean, if John's my equal...
Which he's not now.
He thinks the Times makes him superior to everyone.
And if it were on television...
We'd be together.
You'd be a pair, not just a couple.
We'd be both.
Ooh, I wonder what that's worth on the circuit.
My lecture agent says $45K for a convention, once John gets enough airtime. But see, it's not just that. That's so unfair. It's about us.
I didn't know there was a media couples category on the price list. 2 or more for the price of 2. Has John met with Badger yet?
Yes.
And?
Nothing. He's polite to Badger, but he's humoring me. There's no way he's going to give up the Times. He has no regard for what I'm trying to do to him, for him.
Could I just say one thing? I mean, maybe you could get an advance on a book to explore that tangent. I could see where there would be interviews and stories and a movie. Like, you know, the political consultants on the opposite campaigns, him and her, and then they had the baby, and then they had the American Express ad.
Uh-huh.
I mean, isn't that how they became a media couple? By not being in the media? I mean, maybe that's the ticket. I mean, who's interested in reporters being reporters anyway? No, you can't get an advance on that. But the guy who doesn't want to be in a media couple, that's an original premise. And the way it works out is that you become a media couple. That's the resolution. Just my view. I bet I could write that screenplay in 21 days.
I can't worry about it now. Maybe Scampergate will make a difference. Show John how things really work.
Well, if I were John, I don't think that I'd want to be a shark. Or if I were you, I don't want him to turn into one. It's reverse evolution, crawling from the land into the sea. And I'm speaking of one who's circled the tank for a long time.
You don't have a lead, do you?
No, I don't have a lead. Do you?
No, I don't.
I love aquariums. But the thing about shark tanks is the sharks can't get at anything outside the tank. So, if you want to lead, you have to find someone who's wounded and who's dumb enough to get in the tank. Follow the blood.
Thanks for the tip, Captain Cousteau.
Hi, Frank.
Well, I've been dialing for dollars and come up with nothing. What am I going to write? You turn up anything?
I might. I need to call a certain source.
Oh, you're still here.
Yeah, I love it here. And do you know what the best part of hanging out in Washington is? Having lunch with Loretta.
Oh.
Boy, does she know a lot. She really has the story.
Oh, well, I just...
Have you guys heard all these sex stories, affairs in the White House, even lesbianism?
Mason!
People in Washington are talking about it. People at dinner parties in Chevy Chase are talking about it. The one about the vet? Wow, is that wild?
So you think that sex is a story?
Sex is the only story.
Mason, have you been swimming in the reflecting pool with Fanny Fox? I really should have warned you about that.
Fanny Fox? I haven't heard about her yet. But I heard a lot about what people are talking about, and there's no doubt that it's about sex. I mean, it's another story insider people don't want to touch.
You're going to do the sex stuff? What about sources? Where's the story?
Where there's smoke, there's definitely fire. If everybody's talking about it, there's something there. I could sell a really hot book tomorrow on sex in Washington. I bet the advance would be in the mid-6 figures. I even have a title. The Capital of Sleaze. I'm really shocked that nobody's done it. I mean, do everybody, from the beginning of time, from J. Edgar Hoover to Dick Morris. Spare no one. Do like all the famous journalists, too.
Hey, hold it right there. What do you mean about journalists? Reporters aren't elected officials. Reporters don't report on the personal lives of reporters.
But a lot of journalists are bigger than the politicians, a lot bigger. Nobody knows who their congressman is, but everybody knows the people on television. I mean, come on, congressmen are nobodies. When people out there think of Washington, they think of the media stars. You can't be a celebrity and not expect to be treated like a celebrity. You have to accept the price of fame.
Wait a minute. We're not about to become a bunch of sleaze artists, if that's what you mean.
We're not radio talk show hosts. And we're not daytime television talk show hosts. And we're not Entertainment Tonight hosts. What do you think? My sources are like these TV exhibitionists? Father had an affair with daughter's boyfriend. Mother runs phone sex business while kids are in school.
Hey, don't take it personally.
I'm not taking it personally. I'm not worked up about it. I'm not angry. I'm not outraged.
All right, Frank is right, though. Do you see Loretta here bringing out an exercise video? I don't think so. We're not here to broadcast sex stories unless some politician virtually runs naked down the street with pantyhose on his head. What we've got to be careful about is becoming Vietnamese pot-bellied pigs. No, that's right. That's the danger, and it's a real danger. If you feed Vietnamese pot-bellied pigs meat, they'll wind up eating each other. It's true. It's true. See, that's why you have to keep the pigs vegetarian.
Bert, you are getting so erudite. I'm beginning to picture you every Sunday on Press Beat.
You can't get around the fact that sex is at the center of the story.
Frank, I've got to admit that it's not us who forces these stories. If the politicians don't want sex to be news, they shouldn't do it. News starts, I'm afraid, when the zippers come down. If the public rejected it, we wouldn't do it anymore.
Exactly. It's democracy in America. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I don't believe in doing it, any of it, unless some old goat makes a damn fool of himself and jumps on the stage of a burlesque show. But I'm not going to cover it.
Hey, nobody's making anybody do anything. I'm just wondering why everybody says they're not going to do it, and then everybody winds up doing it. Like, these stories are really hot. I mean, being hot is democracy. Hey, I got to get going.
Well, see you around, kid.
I love that. I love being the kid.
Where do you have to go?
Oh, gotta catch the shuttle to New York. Massive event tonight. Heavy duty, really powerful people will be there.
Mason, what is it?
Party at the Royalton. Fashion issue of detail.
Mason, when are you coming back?
I'll call. See y'all later.
Bye.
No question about it. He's gonna do the sex story.
Yeah, well, that's the last thing I'm gonna do. I've got a real story here.
What sex story? I don't know of any sex story. And what the hell is details? Is he talking about facts?
Loretta, what did you tell him? Why is he buzzing around talking about sex stories?
Don't look at me. People are always saying I'm spreading stories.
Well, you told me
all
about
right, I told him the lesbian story about the vet.
What, did you tell him the source, where you heard it?
There are no sources. It's just around. All right. I think I heard it from Pinky Dunham. You know, she does PR at the Kennedy Center, and her husband's Jerry Dunham at Williams & Connolly, and his sister's deputy assistant at Health and Human Services. Elizabeth, she has a different last name, obviously. Okay, you know Mike Hirschfeld? He's at Aiken Gump. He used to work for Tom Foley. Mike is her husband, and I don't know where Pinky heard it. Probably from Elizabeth, who probably heard it from
Loretta,
Mike when
please,
I don't know. It's just a story I heard. We've all heard it. Don't get so excited.
Well, I just know that that kid you've become so intimate with is gonna do it.
It's not like we're having an affair. I'm just flirting.
Flirting is an affair in this town.
Well, what about sources? You can't get facts without sources.
You can't, I can't. But Mason can. His source can be a knowledgeable Washington insider. It can be people at dinner parties in Chevy Chase. Oh, I can hear New York now. Bill Whitney doesn't know what a great story he took a pass on. Bill Whitney doesn't know what a story is anymore. What are we paying Bill Whitney all this money for?
Oh, you're not gonna do it, are you? Bill, let me be honest with you. It just doesn't fit with how people see you.
Oh, that's easy for you to say. You're the one driving the scandal. You already have your story. But Bill Whitney doesn't have anything. I need to show that I have some aggressive juices left flowing in these veins, or the next thing you know, I'll be on the religion beat. When I first came on this profession, I wanted to be Ed Murrow. Who didn't? But if you acted like Ed Murrow today, you get laughed at.
You can't do this, Bill.
That's exactly why I'm going to.
But there's no sources. How are you going to get sources?
Oh, don't worry. I'm not going to call 1-800-HOT-BABE. I'll have somebody else do it. Why do you think the Bureau has a contract with a private investigating firm?
But what if it doesn't pan out?
Well, if it doesn't pan out, who cares? Bill Whitney will have clean hands. The investigators will investigate, Bill Whitney will report, and Bill Whitney will get the credit.
Bill, you don't want this kind of credit.
Better the credit than the blame.
I'm just gonna keep on the pressure, keep on the story. I'm not gonna rely on sources I don't know. I'm only gonna deal with the sources I trust.
Thank God we haven't all gone off the deep end.
From what I hear, the situation has almost gotten out of control within the administration. I don't know who it is or when, but somebody's going to be thrown out a window in the West Wing. What? Hey, Bobby Rochester's there, isn't it? So why shouldn't it be him? Oh, If Bobby was thrown out, that'd be quite a laurel for me.
It really puts you in play for host of Press Beat.
Oh, I can feel it. Can't you feel it?
I feel like I'm about to howl.
I feel like I need a snack.
Sex for now will feed the beast, and we're circling for the attack. For such is the law of the pack.
The last thing we are is soft on sex. We've taken a lesson from Oedipus Rex. To bring the White House to its knees, we need a stakeout to ferret out sleaze.
I'll need a car, a Diet Coke, and 2 quarter-pounders with cheese.
For such is the law of the pack.
Arrange the chairs on the White House lawn.
Throw me a scapegoat convenient wrong.
Save me a seat at the sacrifice.
I'm licking my chops over scandalous vice.
For such is the law of the pack.
I've got to deliver a body.
Now, who would it be if they did?
Not the president, not the first lady.
And certainly not their kid.
That Crankshaw woman's a sacred cow, a fixture who's very rare.
The ranger's the tree in the forest. If he falls, does anyone care?
The creeps, the creeps, the creeps. They'll put the dog to sleep.
No way! That point is moot. The dog's too cute.
Remember the Beagles and LBJ?
What about Bobby? What about Bobby?
The Fall Guy scenario!
Bobby is hired to be fired.
A scandal in stereo. For such is the law of the pack.
A story with legs.
A handle, a hook.
A scalp that wins the prize.
We're in the hunt and the law of the pack.
Says only the strong survive. For such is the law of the pack.
Rumors of sexual misconduct have swirled around this presidency since before the inauguration. All have been nothing more than rumor until now. Today, a real-life sex scandal has struck the White House. In fact, those caught in the act are the First Lady and the First Dog. According to a reliable, highly placed source, the First Lady has been using Scamper as a stud, and many female dogs in Washington have been impregnated by him. The number may run higher than a dozen. The owners of the offspring of the First Dog comprise an inner circle of friends, campaign contributors, and political allies of the president. Now, this inner circle is linked by a blood relationship to the White House. But it's not only family ties that draw these insiders together. The offspring of Scamper may be worth thousands of dollars, fetching prices far beyond those of even the most expensive purebreds. Not to mention the untold prestige that comes from an intimate connection to the presidency. White House Communications Director Bobby Rochester has yet to disclose a list of those names of the dogs impregnated by Scamper and their well-connected owners. So, just when the White House hoped that the entire affair would die down, it has burst into a messy sex scandal. This is Burton Bird from the White House.
And cut.
Oh, that story's a bitch.
That's hilarious, Bert.
You want me to fix your wife's sister up with Scamper?
No thanks, Bert.
I hear he's an animal.
That's hilarious, Bert.
Dateline, Washington. The voters don't care about a dog, even if it's a president's dog. What they do care about is a president who gets himself in political hot water because of a dog. The dog is not the problem. It's how the president is handling it that's causing concern out there. Real concern. He better get a leash on this thing fast.
It's been a rude awakening for the White House to discover that a pet can no longer be considered part of a public figure's private life. Now the President and the First Lady are struggling to adjust to standards of behavior that are expected of them by a public increasingly worried about questions of morality and values. This is Loretta Hall from the White House.
As always, especially when it comes to the presidency, the ultimate issue comes down to character. The character of a pet is an obvious reflection of the character of the master. An angry person has an angry dog. An affectionate person has an affectionate dog. Now, what does this dog say about his master? That may turn out to be the real issue as the story unfolds further. This is Bill Whitney from the White House.
Here he is.
The story.
Just a few announcements first. The president will meet for lunch with the president of Finland, who will be accompanied by the Finnish foreign minister and the U.S. ambassador to Finland. At 4 this afternoon, the president will tour the facilities of the Voice of America and be interviewed by the Serbo-Croatian language service for broadcast into Bosnia. Tomorrow, the president will meet with the president of Egypt to discuss the latest efforts for peace in the Middle East. And in 2 days, the president will address the General Assembly of the United Nations. And while he is in New York, meet with the visiting Pope. Finally, on the issue of Scamper, we do not yet have available a list of dogs who have been bred with Scamper and their owners. But we are working on it and may have it to you within a day or two. Questions?
Why not?
You must have some names.
When I have a complete list, I'll release it. I don't want to give you a less than full accounting.
The Speaker of the House demanded this morning that the President have Scamper neutered. Does the President plan to respond positively to this idea?
The Speaker's proposal was received here, and the President is giving it thoughtful consideration.
More people care about pets than care about people. That's why Scamper has become topic A. Wouldn't getting him neutered show good faith? It's the only way to shut off the spigot of favoritism.
Is the First Lady withholding the names? Is that why there's a delay?
There is no delay.
Yeah, doesn't the First Lady feel obligated to hold a press conference to explain her special role?
There are no such plans at this time.
Are these dog owners the friends of Mary Susan Hibbert Crankshaw?
Yeah, is this the Virginia Hunt Country Club?
Or the President's contributors crowd?
I don't think that this is a crowd. These are friends and acquaintances of the First Lady. These are dog owners.
Bobby, the White House may say this is just about a dog, but don't you think it would be better for the President if he were to acknowledge that this whole affair isn't superficial but substantive? As your polls must tell you, a large sector of the public thinks of this as more than a canine sex scandal, but as a metaphor for the presidency. A question of character, if you will. Now, doesn't that begin to bother the President?
And perception. The crisis of perception. The appearance of the White House having double standards.
We are taking this seriously, but it's important to state that no laws have been broken.
It's not the letter of the law, but the perception of the law.
Are you not admitting, Bobby, that certain favors were granted when Scamper was set to stud? Not every common dog is privileged to have presidential canine intercourse.
You can't be at that level of denial, Bobby.
The President told me that he was unaware of Scamper's breeding. He is offended at the suggestion of special influence and favoritism.
He didn't know?
Doesn't he care?
Isn't this another example of the President's bad temper?
Will the White House release Scamper's medical records?
I'll try and
Or are you trying to cover up Scamper's venereal disease?
Scamper is a happy dog who shows no sign of illness, but I will check with his veterinarian and get you those records.
Loretta, maybe you're onto something. Ask about the vet.
I am not asking about the vet.
Bobby, has the President contemplated the naming of an independent counsel to clear the air?
An independent counsel is not under consideration.
Has the President consulted the White House legal counsel at least?
He has not. I repeat, there has been no law broken.
Did the dogs meet at the Jefferson Hotel?
Are there pictures? Are there pictures of the dogs on the balcony of the suite there?
Deep doo-doo.
I appreciate each and every one of your inquiries, and I will do my best to answer them as soon as possible.
Thank you. Oh, I gotta get off.
I haven't taped a segment that long since the fire. They let me go on for 2 minutes. Bill Whitney is back.
This firestorm is spreading in so many directions at once, I don't know what to cover
Well,
next.
I'm going to go with the independent prosecutor. That'll get me out in front of the story.
Well, neutering. I'm on to fixing the dog.
Oh.
That's where you got the Congress versus the White House, with the poor dog in the middle. You know, I feel for that mutt. Everyone talking about fixing him. How would you feel?
The political reality of this town has caught up with Scamper and his masters at last.
Well, you never know where the story's going to lead. See, you just do the story. Keep on it. Make the calls. Follow up.
I'm going to go with neutering, too. It's a perfect metaphor.
Frank has been right all along.
Thanks, but I didn't really say anything, except you can't avoid the story.
The president runs around the globe. Who cares? It's not a metaphor for the presidency.
Well, people relate to a dog.
Scamper's a lot more real than any summit.
Well, if it isn't Burton Bird, the distinguished moderator-elect of Press Beats.
Great story, Bert. How'd you get the source on that one?
Yeah, I thought you weren't going to do a sex scandal. Well, we wound up with nothing because we're investigating people. How did you know to look in the kennel?
Have you heard?
What?
It's going to be announced in a half hour.
Don't tell me Scamper's been fixed already. That'll kill what I'm going to do.
No. Crankshaw's quitting.
What?
She's resigned.
Oh, good question.
Was she pushed?
Hey, that's a better question.
I thought it was going to be Bobby.
Yeah, there's supposed to be a statement soon.
Well, what reasons are they giving?
I don't know. All I know is she's out.
Congratulations, Bert.
Yeah, I can't believe it. So what do you think? Is this a story or what?
Crank show's a really big fish.
Yeah, and she just fell from the sky.
How could she get herself brought down by this? I thought she had more savvy.
Now, they didn't understand that Crankshaw wasn't an old Washington hand that they needed. It was her husband who was the player. She was just a fundraiser. But how would they know who's really who in this
No,
town?
I don't think that's fair. She gave the dog as a gift, never knowing it would be prostituted.
Well, we don't know if she knew. You know, we have to wait for the White House statement.
Now, you know as well as I do, there's not going to be anything about prostitution in that statement.
You know, and it's not really Mary Susan's fault, Bill. You are always eager to blame the woman. See, it's a small pond, big pond problem. They thought they could make the transition in this town with her because she was a cave dweller and avoid the rest of us.
You can take the president out of Toledo, but you can't take Toledo out of the president.
Well, who are they going to name to replace her?
You mean, who are they going to get as their new seeing eye dog to guide them through this town?
Hey, can I use that seeing eye dog line on Inside Dopesters? You're not going to use it, are you, Bill?
No, it's a gift. My pleasure.
The White House Correspondents' Dinner this Saturday night is going to be electric because of the story.
Well, I haven't missed one in 27 years.
The Cal Ripken of correspondence.
Hey, Loretta, who'd you get as guests for your table? We've got the Senate Majority Leader and the House Minority Whip.
We've got the House Minority Leader and the Senate Majority Deputy Whip and Demi Moore.
Oh, I'll stop by your table, okay?
Who's Debbie Moore?
This is a great party.
Honey, what floor do we want?
Somebody press the mezzanine button.
You got it, mister?
No, I almost didn't recognize you in black tie, Frank. I'm surprised you aren't wearing that old bow tie.
Oh, Loretta, I just wish I was the lucky son of a gun who painted that dress on you.
Oh, watch it, Frank. They'll be reading about us in the Star.
After you. Hey, there's Bill. Hey, Bill.
Yeah, the Hilton hasn't looked this good since Reagan was shot here.
Which cocktail party should we hit first?
Proactive communications, I always go to that one.
I hear that's fun. Oh, Bill, you look very handsome.
You are beautiful.
Oh, stop. Hey, look, there's Rush Limbaugh in the corner.
I was wondering where that sudden blast of hot air came from.
Hey, there's Bert by the bar. Bert.
Bartender, I'll have a Sauvignon Blanc.
A scotch and soda. So, Bert, you're going to be on Press Beat tomorrow?
Yep.
See, even with no news break, they're putting you on.
You're a de facto regular. Bartender, light beer, please.
Now is the time to bring in Rancher to negotiate. Your train has got tremendous speed now. Don't let it go off the rails.
You think this is the right moment, not in a week or two? Because I can get another break, and then I can make the move. Wouldn't that be better?
Everyone knows you broke the stories. You don't need to convince anyone anymore.
Guys?
When you get the job, give Loretta 10%. She's a real agent.
Well, what the hell? Go for it, but keep on the story. Don't give up. If you got the story, you always got the story. That's what got you over the speed bump. It's what separates the men from the boys. Another scotch and soda, please.
All right, okay. Monday is momentum day.
Well, that's the spirit. Hey, there's Bill Crystal.
Ugh, the first rat.
And he's eating a cheese hors d'oeuvre. Let's go talk to him.
Now, let's go talk to Ariana Huffington. I hear she's looking for a new guru.
I'm with you.
Loretta, where's John? I don't see him here.
Oh, the loyal corporate citizen is at the Times party.
So how come you didn't come and bring Mason instead?
You misunderstand my kindness to strangers.
Oh, sure.
I spoke to him on this phone today. He said he had to go to Utah to research a new Enid and Joe Waldholtz story. He described it as a Bridges of Madison County kind of a piece.
Bill Whitney? Loretta Hall? I can't believe you're real. You're really real. I watch you on TV and here you are. It's so exciting. I had no idea Washington was like this.
Excuse me, and you are...
Oh, forgive him. Bill, this is the actress, Michelle Jessica McCall. You've seen her in movies?
Yeah. Yes. I've seen you in movies, and here you are.
Yes, we're all real.
Yeah, and what's your next movie?
A Washington movie?
Do you play George or Martha?
Nothing that serious. It's a romantic comedy about a president who loses his sense of the meaning of life and wanders out of the White House incognito. And then the president meets this woman, played by me, and, well, I'm just a waitress.
Very realistic.
And we travel together beyond the Beltway. That's what you call it, Beltway. And then we fall in love, and he goes back to being president with a renewed sense of purpose, and the country falls in love with him all over again. It's a love story with meaningful social values.
That's never been done before.
Oh, I just love being here in this town. I knew Washington was a place, and I watched the news religiously. But, oh, to be among people who do serious work, it's not like the movies.
No, you couldn't make it up.
I mean, that's what's so wonderful. You're not acting out some fairy tale. I mean, everybody thinks that movies are what's on the screen, but I have to live in another world. Producers, agents, oh, God, you couldn't even begin to imagine it. That's why it's such a dream to be here. You know, I'm a talk show groupie. I love the Karnofsky Group and Inside Dopesters, and especially Press Beat. It's the most intellectual. Hey, Loretta, I think you ought to be the host on one of these shows. You know, you have the most intellectual look.
Maybe you could be a guest on my show.
Oh, God, I love to be on television just to express opinions. But I don't really have your access to people like Bobby Rochester. I mean, I'm not really an intellectual.
Oh, tut, darling. A pair of tortoiseshell glasses, you're ready to go, girl.
You know, it's just so thrilling to be among people who spend all their time working on important stories with meaningful social values.
Hey, Loretta. Hey, can you believe all this?
Bird! God, you're all here in one room. It's just devastating. You are so tough. I just admire your independence so much.
Bert, this is Michelle Jessica McCall, the actress.
Oh, yeah. Movies, right? Yeah. Weren't you in that comedy about the serial killer and Demi Moore?
No.
Oh, I love that movie. Hey, Loretta, can you believe how Rochester and company must feel being here in the middle of the scandal? It's like they're sitting naked in front of thousands of people pretending that they could still cover up. You know, for one night, we pretend like they're wearing clothes, but not tomorrow.
Oh, I love hearing this. That was so real.
I can't believe how Ariana Huffington was fawning all over you, Bert. She thinks if she's nice to you, you'll let her be an occasional guest on Press Beat.
Frank Langley, you are so authentic. I am your devoted fan. Meeting you, I feel like I'm on the set of Guys and Dolls.
Thanks. Another scotch and soda.
Michelle, you must let me know when you're back in town.
Oh, you mean it? That would be so exciting.
Yes, I'll bring you by the briefing room. We can take in the circus and then do lunch.
Oh, excuse me. There's Bobby Rochester. Loretta, don't you think he's really cute?
Adorable.
Oh, and there's that guy from Presby.
Phil Riley.
And someone else. Is he a senator?
Nah. He's more powerful than a senator. He's more powerful than a cabinet secretary.
He's an agent. That's Clark Badger.
I think I need to say hi to Bobby. Bye-bye. I'll be in touch.
Well, looking forward to it.
Now who's flirting?
I sure want to hear that joke that Riley just told.
Well, maybe Riley's being nice to Rochester to make up for chopping him in the kidneys last month. You know, on Press Beat. Think I should go over to talk to Riley and Badger?
You'd better, but don't bring up Press Beat. Wait till Monday. This is the worst place to make a pitch.
I'll go with you. You can introduce me to Badger.
No, we can all.
Ladies and gentlemen, could I have your attention for a moment? I don't want to take any of the glamour away from the announcement of the Merriman Smith Correspondent of the Year Award, but I think I have a little scoop that may interest you. When I leave this town for that small, crowded, noisy island a couple of 100 miles north of here, there will be a new host of Press Beat, someone whose credentials are unparalleled. He's paid his dues, he's been on Press Beat often, and his train has left the station. Please give a big round of applause to, yes, the White House Press Secretary and new host of Press Beat, Bobby Rochester! Bobby Rochester!
Oh, my God!
And now, Clark Badger has something to say. Clark?
It has been a challenge and a pleasure working out this deal between Bobby and Phil. We've had to operate in complete confidence under circumstances like those surrounding a national security matter. In a way, it was appropriate because national security is affected by who holds the sensitive position of host of Press Beat. Now, Phil Riley, we all know, is a thorough professional, and there can be no greater reflection of his professionalism than his care in selecting his replacement. There could be no better successor than Bobby Rochester, who has a truly intimate knowledge of how things work in this town.
Yes. Thank you, Clark. If we can embarrass you further, Bobby, perhaps you'd like to say something. It can be short. You'll have plenty of time to hold forth on press beat.
I am a little embarrassed, and I will make a more formal statement at the next briefing. But I have informed the president, who has given me his blessing. I've tried in my position to serve the public interest. I'm proud of what I've done. I think the rest of you have appreciated the constraints under which we in the White House operate. What I've come to recognize is that the world has changed. The opportunities we have in government to serve the public now pale compared to those in journalism. We in the media are independent communicators of truth. We don't seek popularity, wealth, or status. We ask the only question that really matters: how can we serve the public's right to know?
We in the media.
I'm really sorry, Bert.
Frank, Bill,
Oh,
Loretta.
hi, Bobby.
Congratulations, kid.
The old conflicts are gone, I hope. We're turning a new page. We're going to start fresh. I'm really looking forward to joining you on this side of the podium.
Bobby, I've got to introduce you to some important people. Let's get going.
Yeah, Bert, I'd like to pick your brain. Can we get together soon? I'd really appreciate your input.
Sure.
Yeah, let's do lunch soon.
Yeah,
I'll see you in the ballroom.
Yeah, congratulations. Oh, Loretta. What does this mean?
You're not host.
I know that, but what about regular? Or at least regular substitute?
Well, maybe Badger can work it out.
Have lunch with Bobby tomorrow.
Yeah, at least I know him.
There you go.
Talk to you later, Bobby. Oh, I can't believe this is happening to me. Bobby asked me to lunch tomorrow at the White House mess, and I still can't get over standing here with all of you just like you appear in the city.
The city?
The magazine. Check it out. I picked it up in New York this morning. The City. I've never read anything like it.
Can I see that?
The Boys and Girls in the Shark Tank. Nice title. It's what I've been saying for years. Oh, finally, somebody's gonna get those arrogant kids who run that communications office, huh?
Okay, let me read it. The preening pretensions of White House are on parade in the White House press rooms. Yeah, I told you, Mason's a really talented writer.
All he knows is alliteration. Read on.
Okay, that's true. What? Loretta Hall, a backbiting, elbow-throwing, oversexed roller derby queen? What?
Well, it looks like you just shot yourself in the foot talking to that Mason character.
Oh, let's see if you're infamous enough to be in this masterpiece. Oh, here you are. Bill Whitney is obsessed with performance anxiety, a candidate for a journalist's impotence clinic.
Impotent? Here, let me see that. Let me see. Here I am. Am I, quote, sniveling, unquote? This is so misleading. This is so poorly reported.
Well, that kid's no reporter.
Yeah, well, according to him, you're a, quote, petrified fossil, unquote.
That little creep, that dweeb, that punk. And I was only talking to him to help my husband. If I ever see him again, I am going to dump a bottle of Merlot all over his Armani jacket.
I'm finished.
I am not a sniveler.
Hey, look, it's garbage. It's a trendy fashion magazine. You think they're paging through it on the hill? I never heard of that magazine before this, and I'm not going to hear about it after. So someone has some opinion about people in this town. So what? They're not here.
They'll have an opinion in New York.
Oh, I did all this work to build myself up. Now I'm dog food. Loretta, you let that outsider in here.
I did not. He just walked in himself. I'm in just as bad a position as you. I'll never be a media couple now.
Oh, my God. Oh, Badger's headed this way.
Clark, come over here.
He's gonna drop me, I just know it.
I see you're reading that article in The City. Quite a compelling piece. Only out since this morning, but that town has been talking about this town. If a meteor from Mars had landed in front of me, I would not have noticed it. That's how compelling it is. And you know what? It is infantile. Attitude is the word they use now for being obnoxious. But I'm not interested in Mr. Attitude. I am interested in you four. A real Fab Four. and I got so interested that I got an idea. You don't mind listening, do you?
Oh, no. I've got nothing to do now.
I like this idea so much. I did something I haven't done before, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Here's the idea. The Boys and Girls in the Shark Tank. Good title? Well, we'll shorten it to the Shark Tank. And who is in the Shark Tank? You are. You are the Shark Tank. What is it? It's a new talk show about this town. You just do what you do. You say what you say. So?
I love it. I'd watch it.
I am so wild about the concept that I spoke with a potential sponsor looking for a big project. I faxed over the piece, and the response, I've got to say, was very warm. With this sponsor, Frontier Harvest Seed, I'm sure we can get this new show syndicated everywhere. You want to give it a shot?
Well, I don't know. My press speak
commitment
commitment
don't worry about it. I'll get you out of it. Bobby Rochester and Phil Riley owe me one. It will not be a problem.
When would this show be on?
About 7:30 Saturday night. Is that a good time?
Would there be a desk or just chairs? What about a host?
Oh, no host. That's the unique selling proposition. That's what makes it the Shark Tank.
Yeah, who sits in the middle?
I think we can work it out. What do you think, Frank?
Well, inside Dopesters, the Shark Tank, it's all the same to me. But if I can do a show with these three, why not?
I think we may get more for you than on Inside Dopesters. Considerably more.
You work it out.
What about guests? Could we pick the guests?
Oh, yes. I think John would make a fine guest. Gentlemen, Loretta, shall I proceed? What do you say? In this town, you four are hot. You have momentum. Is it a package?
Now, Clark, Stuart Grant.
You know, Bill,
represents me,
I
and
was talking to Stuart just the other day, and he has the highest regard for you. He and I will work this all out. He's a true gentleman. Well, the lights are flashing. Time for dinner. Monday. We'll all talk Monday. Michelle, can I escort you in?
Oh, I wish I was sitting at your table, Clark. You could tell me how power really works in this town.
Hey, goodbye.
See you inside, Clark, Michelle.
Well, this sounds like no heavy lifting.
John's gonna be a guest.
I knew that Badger would work everything out. Loretta, we could have saved all this complication if you just introduced me to him in the beginning.
I'd be a regular. I wouldn't have to be worrying about being a regular. I'd be a regular.
Burton, thank you for inviting me to sit at your table.
Oh, that's my pleasure, Henry.
This is my first White House Correspondents' Dinner. I enjoy all the anthropological rites. I just left Penny, who just got off the phone with your wife. Penny and Jenny are working so hard on the fashion show for the Women's Health Foundation. They've become such good friends since you first came to dinner. You know, it's easy to overlook, but that's the sort of quiet cooperation that really makes this town tick.
Yeah.
Rising when they enter is one of those anthropological rites I love.
Yeah, there they are. Your old classmate.
And his capable wife.
You know, I never thanked you for all those tips on Scamper.
Oh, we just had a few conversations. It was your enterprise that made them into stories. I don't know if you appreciate how much impact you've had. You see the First Lady? She's very preoccupied with your story right now. She'll be explaining. Oh, awful. Just awful. There's no escaping the terrible fact that she'll have to spend an endless period reconstructing her image. Well, she'll certainly have no time to poke around the Pentagon.
I didn't know the First Lady was interested in defense policy.
Oh, I don't think she'll have any time for it now, even if she were. I say, we never did get around to our chat about how I'm reconfiguring the nuclear arsenal, did we?
As president of the White House Correspondents Association, I'm happy to welcome the President and the First Lady to our annual event. The job of the White House correspondent, as we know, is a grueling...
Frankly, I have to confess I'm surprised at the conduct of the president. He should have been able to get out in front of this story. Instead, he allowed himself to be overwhelmed. They brought this on themselves, didn't they?
What they didn't know and when didn't they know it? Yeah. It's really a creeping crisis of perception.
Yes. Yes, you'll have to explain more to me about the mysterious process that goes on here. At lunch sometime soon. You really do understand this town.
Well.
By the way, there was another little incident involving Scamper today.
Really?
Poor dog. He was tied up by his leash on the Truman balcony, and somehow he got his head stuck in the railings. He was almost half dead when they found him.
This negligence is an unbelievable metaphor. Scamper may have even tried to commit suicide.
And the winner of this year's
the perception
Merriman
of suicide.
Smith White House Correspondent of the Year
cover-up.
award is Burton Bird, ladies and gentlemen. Bird!
Mr. Prestige!
Story of the year!
Good man, Bert!
Bert, you just won the Merriman Smith Award.
What? I won?
Yes, go up there and get it.
I won?
Yes.
Thank you very much. I just kept on the story. I just did the work. This is so incredible.